love. In this life I come across fans and hoes, and I like to give my fans a rose. Curse of the talented, everywhere I go they wanna change clothes and pose. But my wife be in my dreams, bruh, no I couldn't see it. I saw her silhouette, I know I can make a way. But when I wake up alone, no, I just break out the phone, thinking I can break this bitty song.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, and you're tuned into episode 126. But before we get started, this episode is sponsored by Dallas Bachata Radio, where you can listen to this interview in high quality. As well, we are available on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Catch up on all past 125 episodes of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. Also, this podcast will be heading over to Dallas in October for the Dallas Bachata Festival. For more information, a link will be provided after this interview. And tonight, people, yes, we're bringing it back to Texas. We are, as they say, in the heart of Texas. And for me, talking to artists, whether what style you dance, bachata, salsa, kizomba, zouk, compa, everything for me, I really love talking to artists of many styles and meeting this person in 2019 at the Dallas Fest and seeing her progression, her journey, especially throughout last year, really acknowledging how much work she's put in within her community, bringing some motivation, bringing dance classes back, but really focusing on the topic of female empowerment. And today, people, we have here from the deep heart of Texas, the one and only Miranda Kittie.
Woo! Yeah.
and right now we're in the kitty corner, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
my God, this
exactly.
is amazing. Honestly, Miranda, it is an honor for me to have you here tonight.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. I mean, let's just say this past year has been a whirlwind. I mean, for many of us as artists, as performers, but most of all, I love always talking to artists to really gauge their perception on things. But as I al- as I always do, and I ask, the first question is, how have you been throughout this past year?
I definitely learned just how introverted I am.
Mm,
So I've been living my best life here at home, um, developing my kitty corner,
mm.
and just creating a space for me, myself, and I. And yeah.
And hearing that, it makes perfect sense because understanding that a lot of artists that I meet have told me the same thing, realizing how much more introverted they are, even though we're in a public format, public setting, public atmosphere for so many years and congresses we go to, realizing when those moments are taken away from us, how really in tune we are with ourselves and probably rather be home. And I think it's even more amazing that the kitty corner, I believe, is at your home. So you're kind of in
Yes.
two worlds at once. So I mean, that's really good. And for me too, especially watching your content over this past year, I've loved it. Seeing you collaborate also with other women, focusing on the topics of body positivity, female empowerment. These heels classes are amazing. And, I really appreciate it because I know the time and effort it takes into putting that type of production together.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I heel stance has meant so much to me, especially in quarantine, in my kitty corner.
Hmm.
It was my form of self-love and looking at myself
Hmm.
and believing in the person that I saw and empowering myself. And so that's the main reason why I love teaching heels dance to women, is to empower these other women to also love themselves and believe in themselves. And I think it's so powerful and important for every woman, every human being, but especially every woman, to do so and learn how to love themselves and feel empowered.
Absolutely. I mean, especially throughout this past year, realizing how vulnerable we really are, not just as a dance community, but as a whole, and realizing uh, the topics of mental health, depression definitely come up a lot. And realizing too, even though we are artists, we're still human beings with feelings, with emotions, and our own personal gripes. But me having this platform, I love that I can have people like you on because it's really about you telling your story before someone else can tell it for you. And like I always start all of my interviews here, I love understanding, of course, the successful part, but I really want to know as well how it all started. So, kind of give us an understanding of who Miranda Kittie was before the Kitty Corner, before it all. Who's Miranda?
Well, Miranda is um, a shy girl born and raised in California. Grew up dancing in the dance studio and loved math and loved doing schoolwork and went to college for engineering, got an engineering job, and then it wasn't really until after Miranda, after I graduated from college, that I started, I guess, developing a different relationship with dance, more of a
Mm,
personal relationship with dance, and really like not just going to the classes that my parents put me in or my parents thought I would like, but
hmm
really figuring out the classes that I liked and just trying everything. I found partner dancing, found pole dancing and heels
hmm
dancing. And so, I that was my time of growing and figuring out who I was. And pole dance was around the time when Kitty was born. I
mm,
there's a bar here in Austin called Rooftop on Sixth, and they have poles. And um, right, I think it was in college. My friend in college took me to this bar, and he was like, "I know you're gonna love it." And I don't know why he said that, but he was so right. I didn't
hmm
know how to pole dance, but I got up on this stage with the pole and I was just dancing and having so much fun. And then I I don't know how I chose cat ears, but
mm.
I started wearing cat ears to go to this bar so people would remember me, and
Um,
it worked. And
yeah,
everyone downtown was like, "Oh, you're the cat girl, you were
yeah.
dancing over there." And I was like, "Yeah, that was me." And then I wanted to get better at pole dancing, I guess. So I
Mhm.
started taking classes and I just started wearing cat ears to dance classes. And then I would say like Kitty, and people calling me Kitty really
Yeah.
stuck when I changed my Instagram name to have Kitty in the name.
Mm.
So, and then yeah, just people in the heels community started calling me Kitty, and then now it's my brand and
Mhm.
my creation, and it's developed into so much more, and it will develop into so much more. And
Yeah. No,
and
absolutely. I mean, and to hear that that story came about of, your friend bring you to a bar, you just question is, how did you get the cat ears? Where did that story come from? How did that even like
I
formulate?
I wish I remembered, but I went on Amazon and something, I don't know. I guess I was looking for a headband. Maybe I was looking
Mm.
for cat ears. I really don't remember, but I bought cat ears. The same ones that I always wear, the black
Yeah.
lace. Like
Wow. And wait,
this.
question is, do you have like 5 or 6 cats at your home?
Oh boy, I have probably. Oh wait, cats. Cats. I
Yeah, I
only
mean,
have
no, not
two.
cat ears,
Uh,
but cats.
cats. I only have two cat ears. I probably have like 30.
Oh my
because
God.
people keep giving them to me as gifts, which I appreciate so much.
Oh my God. I mean, hey, it
But
fits the brand. I mean, it
yeah.
fits the message. So, what year would you say this was around that this all kind of started?
Mm, like 2017, probably.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then, see,
Yeah.
for me too, and I love is that talking to artists from different worlds in a sense, because we understand there's a salsa world, the bachata world, the kizomba world, zouk, and then realizing within those worlds, they have their own events, their own parties, their own crowds. And like you said, going from the heels classes, and heels classes have been really popular this last 10 years, especially with YouTube. I mean,
Mm.
one video goes viral and the whole state is known. But realizing, my question now to you is, initially taking these heel classes, going from the pole dancing to the heels classes, was it a gradual progression or were there some bumps along the way?
Well, I because I grew up dancing and
Hmm.
taking all these like technical classes, dancing in a heel, the actual like physics of it,
Yeah.
it felt pretty natural. But the thing that I had to learn and had to start to be comfortable with was dancing in a sexy way. And
Yeah.
like it is a kind of vulnerability, opening yourself up to this different side. Um, but as a growing and maturing woman, it was really fun and exciting.
Yeah. So, was the kind of heels atmosphere, was it big in Austin, or is it a large community, or is it kind of small?
It started off really small, and I feel like when I first started was also when the heels community in Austin started building up. Um, so it started pretty small, but it's really growing, and we've actually had a few instructors from LA
Hmm.
come out to Austin. So I think that's really great, and I think it's definitely growing. Um,
Absolutely. So, you're taking heels classes, you've done the pole dancing classes. When was that point that you told yourself or figured out maybe I can start teaching?
I right around when I started like taking heels classes,
Hmm.
one of the instructors asked me to assist her with her classes.
Yeah.
So so I always felt like I guess a role model kind of, and then
Mm.
she ended up getting pregnant and she took a break from her classes, and so
Yeah.
that's when I kind of stepped up and just decided to start teaching classes. I started at like $5, gather in this dance studio or this gym even.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, and that was probably 2 years ago or so.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and then from there, I just started working at different studios in
Hmm.
Austin. Yeah.
Wow. So then, you're working at these studios in Austin. When do you actually get involved within the Kizomba community? How does that even transpire?
Mhm. It was almost around the same time that I started heels dancing.
Hmm.
Um, I, 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 I found Kizomba and I started taking classes and traveling and just figuring out what Kizomba was. And then it wasn't until um, Marietta Villalobos here in Austin,
Yes.
when she was in Austin, she asked me to train under her. And so that's when I really started to train even more. And then I I mm, I think it was probably a few months after that, I just started styling, like kizomba styling, and it kind of came natural from, since I came from like this solo dance
Hmm.
world. I'm used to dancing on my own. I'm used to
Yeah.
this like solo self-expression. Um, and so I started teaching a little bit of like urban kids styling.
Yeah. Wow. So now, since you said an important term, urban kizomba, because for me as the novice person understanding, can you give us a kind of brief summary on the different styles of kizomba, what those may entail?
Yes, I will try my best. So Urban Kids is a urban evolution of Kizomba, and Kizomba
Hmm.
uh, comes from Simba, which
Yeah.
is from Angola, Africa, and Simba is really about party. That's what Kizomba means, party, but
Hmm.
it's a cultural family kind of party dance, and it's a marching dance kind of steps.
Mm.
It's all about the steps, and then when Angolans moved to Portugal, um, they kind of morphed samba into this
Mm.
other version, morphing with European styles,
Yeah.
and so this kind of different form of samba evolved to kizomba, which was a lot slower.
Hmm.
Um, but still the same steps. And then an even further evolution of Kizomba came with some um, some influences from kind of ballroom styles or
Yeah.
European partner dance styles. And so now we have urban Kizomba, which is still all about the steps. It's a
Hmm.
lot more linear, and you have more urban kind of musical elements where it's not just this continuous flow. We have some stops, some breaks, some
Yeah.
syncopations, but it's all based around the steps
Gotcha.
and your connection with the ground.
Absolutely. I mean, I think with all dance is really also about connection. But I find it interesting, like you said, of talking about that dynamic of being in a setting with heels when it's kind of solely focused on you to now going into Kizomba and you actually are working with a partner, maybe a person you've never met
Mm-hmm.
before, but you have to somehow find a connection. So my question to you now is, you now in the Kizomba scene in Austin, do you remember like your first social or event that you went to, a mixer, and what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I actually went to NeoKids, the Urban Kids event here in Austin. I think it was 2017.
Hmm.
My friend was going, and I had no idea what Kizomba was, Urban Kids was. He just said it's a dance party, and I'm going. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
So I went, and the music was awesome, and I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. Was it tango?
Hmm.
And like, I had done some salsa bachata, and like growing up in my family, I had also
Yeah.
done that as well. Um, but I was faking it till I made it. I don't, and I enjoyed the music, and so many of the people there were just really nice and kind of showed me the ropes a little
Hmm.
bit. And then, so yeah, that was my first experience with it. And I did a lot of dancing on my own,
Hmm.
just in the back enjoying the music. But
Yeah.
it was intense. It wasn't. I had no idea what I was getting into. But
I mean, I love the honesty. I love the complete honesty and transparency because, to see how far you've come now and to think back of where you were. I mean, hey, right there is an example of progression because it happens to us. We go to our first event and it's kind of like a deer in the headlights moment of, okay, what am I getting myself into? But the difference is with many people like us, we find an interest rather than it deter us or
mm,
push us away from it. Um, so now my question is to you: you've been to your first event and you're starting to like it more. How long was it until you really kind of felt comfortable going to events and, really feeling comfortable about whoever I'm dancing with, things are going to go kind of smoothly?
Um, uh, I mean, training with Marietta really
Hmm.
helped. She's an amazing instructor. So I feel like that was the huge turning point once I started going to her classes
Hmm.
and also, learning first Kizomba before, to truly understand urban kids.
Yeah.
So I think that was really like the pivotal
Mm.
point and the point when I felt like I had a better understanding.
Gotcha. So for the person who's saying, "Hey, I've been to salsa congresses, festivals, bachata festivals. Tell me what it's like at a Kizomba festival." Can you give us a kind of a brief understanding of what goes down at Kizomba festivals?
Mm, um, dark rooms, like loud bass. You can
Yeah.
feel the bass when you
Mm.
walk in, wherever it is, the hotel room, the hotel
Yeah.
floor, maybe even on the elevator as you're going down, you hear that boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
um, and it's always because Kizomba, Urban Kids, is so much about connection, and because the dance is sometimes a very close dance, and
Hmm.
um, it's such a communication between the lead
Yeah.
and the follow. You spend a lot of time trying to understand the lead and the follow. I think a lot of deep connections are made. So it's always warm hugs. It's always
Mm.
family. These people become your family, and you see
Yeah.
them at all these festivals, and yeah, that's beautiful, amazing, awesome, and everyone should try it.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, I definitely don't disagree. I've been in those Kizomba rooms at bachata festivals. They get hot, especially like the Dallas Bachata Festival when they have that little Kizomba room with Benga and all those
Yeah.
people. Yeah, it definitely gets interesting. So now it actually leads me into kind of 2020 and realizing the tumultuous year that it was, really not I mean, of course, for the whole world, but especially as well for the dance community. Realizing many studio owners, directors now had to reconfigure how they were going to move forward. And for me, as we talked as well, and as I announced earlier, was me really getting to know you more as an artist around that time last year in the beginning, because there was that initial period in April, going in, actually in March, going into April, when, you needed kind of that source of motivation and inspiration. And throughout those months and leading on, then looking more into your work and seeing, for me, you were one of the initial people I saw, especially on my feed, producing content for the masses, out of your own time and your own effort. So kind of give us an understanding of that thought process and how that came about.
Mm, well, there's one of the studios that I teach at called Esquina Tango. They very quickly, once things started shutting down, they very quickly started doing Facebook Live classes.
Yeah.
And um, and so I kind of threw my yes in the kitty corner. I kind of threw myself into it, and um, I think the thing that really helped me was having a hour-long video of seeing myself teach
Hmm.
and just learning from that and learning how to get better, how to create a better experience for students, how to make it fun, how to how to keep people moving, how to keep people motivated, and share dance. That's one of the main reasons why I teach is share dance. So how can I best
Hmm.
share dance with everyone through my class? And I was just having fun and just trying to grow, And one of the biggest things that I learned is lights just make
Mhm.
everything cooler.
Yes, that is true. And it brings us to what we have behind you, which is the kitty corner. And it
Yes.
kind of is a world within your own world. And, you know, tell me really now, you've started these classes. What was the feedback like? Especially you know, there was almost like a schedule that you knew, like, hey, Miranda's about to come on and do a class. And, over time you're doing these classes. What was that feedback like?
Um, yeah, it was really awesome to have, people from all around the world kind of tune
Hmm.
in and to be here from Austin and be able to connect with all my Kizomba family all over the
Yeah.
US and all over the world, and even people that I didn't know. I had someone from Japan message
Mm,
me like, "Oh, I loved your heels class." And to have these classes recorded and on Facebook, and
yeah.
they could go out there and watch these classes whenever. Um, so so, I mean, yeah, the feedback, from students was always positive, and I think
Hmm.
people were really appreciative to have, something to do and something happy, something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're actually going to get into our last visual I'll put out. This was a heels class, I believe, that you had did. I loved each and every minute of it when I saw it, but we're about to check it out again. So everyone, check it out.
Kick off my heels, wipe off my smile. Feels like I haven't been alone for a while. So I slip into something more comfortable. Looking in the mirror and I love it all. Nobody takes time for themselves, 'cause we're living in a world for someone else. Baby, know your worth, you deserve it all. What's wrong with loving yourself? Diamonds on my neck, diamonds on my neck. Since in the bathtub, working up a sweat. Turning my phone off, got DMs I don't check. DMs I don't check. DMs I don't check. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with myself. I'm in love.
Man, oh my God, I loved it. I mean, but also too, I think also that song, I'm in love with myself, and that having a message. And, for me, really everything, again, like I always say on the platform, is everything makes sense. Everything you're doing, growing up and being already in dance, finding your confidence, finding the positivity within yourself, realizing that, now having the opportunity to be a teacher and an instructor, you're inspiring so many more people. So, a question that I have before we get into one of my last segments that I have called the randoms is, with 2021 here, we're finding some sense of normalcy in a sense. What is really for you your future or your outlook on what you want happening within your career, going forward?
Um, I mean, right now, and even recently, I've started
Hmm.
to integrate some like confidence and some mindset, mentorship really, in my heels classes. And I think just for me,
Hmm.
and what I've realized through quarantine is just how much heels dance can be used to boost confidence and as a form of self-love. So I've started to integrate that into my heels classes, but even more so than that, I'm I'm in the process of creating kind of a course for women that want to learn how to heels dance, but also how to connect with their femininity and feel empowered and feel fierce all through heels dance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, for me, seeing an artist like yourself with so much growth and progression, especially over this time, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you have in the future. And now it helps us transition to our last segment that I have called the randoms, which is about 10 questions that allows myself to get to know you better. So, Miranda, all I need to know is when you are ready.
Is it is it timed? Is there a time
And
constraint?
no,
Do
I'll
I
give
have
you
to
some
get
I'll give you
ready?
some I'll give you some extra time. But
Oh, okay,
uh
I'm
let's
ready.
start off with the first question. If you could have one wish, what would it be?
Um, One wish. I would wish to um oh my gosh. uh I would wish to have little to no regrets in life at the end of my
Mm,
life.
I like that. I like that. All right, next question is if you could have your own store, what would it be called?
um well, something with Kitty. I don't know.
I mean, kitty corner, could we
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Kitty Nook. I don't know.
All right. All right. We'll see. We'll see. All right.
Kitty
Next
Castle.
question. Kitty
Just
Castle. Okay. The cat, yeah, Kitty Castle sounds more appealing than the Cat Castle. So I like that. All right. Next question is everything bigger in Texas?
it is. It really
Uh,
is.
I mean, I've seen donuts at the Round Rock. I mean, huge. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I mean,
Yeah, you can find anything. In San Antonio, they have like 4-foot diameter pizzas. They brought out the pan and it's like as tall as me. And this whole
wow.
slice is like that long. Yeah,
My
it's
God.
amazing.
Well, next question is do men take your classes?
They do, and heels dance is really for anyone
Hmm.
who wants to express and explore femininity. And I encourage anyone who feels, drawn to do so to do that. And yeah,
Absolutely. All right. What's your favorite meal?
I love seafood,
Hmm.
specifically shrimp. So anything with shrimp.
Okay, perfect. I like that. What is your favorite hobby?
Dance.
All right, besides dance.
um, mm, I like doing origami. I haven't done that in a while, but it's very meditative to fold this piece of paper and have something beautiful.
Oh, I like that. I like that. All right,
Oh,
next question is favorite Kizomba artist right now. And I mean this.
um,
You're at a
hmm,
Kizomba social right now, which you're actually planning to go to next
uh,
week. Who's one artist that you would want to social dance with?
so a lead then,
Again?
uh, a lead.
It
You,
could be a lead. Yes, it can be any lead. Doesn't matter. Or if you
uh,
lead, it could be a follow.
uh, I'll pick a lead.
Okay.
I really enjoy dancing with Heneko. He's
Mhm.
partners with Adelina, Urban Kids.
All right, perfect. All right, next one is describe yourself in 3 words.
Fierce, feminine, and oh, fabulous, I guess,
Hey, I like
to
that.
go with the alliteration.
Fit, fierce, fabulous.
Yes.
The three F's. All right, awesome. All right, next one is what's your biggest turnoff? We're talking about, you're at a kids fest and
Uh,
someone grabs you to dance and just everything is not going right. What's the biggest turnoffs for you?
I, I, well, it's holding me too tight, but also
Hmm.
since I'm small, it's when leads have like too high of a frame.
Mm.
I'm short. You have to lower your frame because then otherwise I'm like dancing like this the whole time, and I'm just
Gotcha. I love it. I love it. All right. Last question is, if you're on an island, what are three items that you would have with you?
A water bottle with a water purifier
Thank you.
system. um, I don't know. Hmm. Infinite rechargeable batteries and my
Mm.
iPad.
All right, there you go. I definitely love that answer, and I thank you again for doing this segment. I definitely learned a little bit more about you. That you're a shrimp lover. That you want a person with a nice form and frame to take care of you when you're dancing. I mean, hey, I definitely appreciate and also learning that again, everything is bigger in Texas. So,
Yeah.
I mean, thank you again, and Miranda. Honestly, from start to finish of this episode and this talk today. For me, I've felt I've learned a lot more about you than I already knew, but also me appreciating your initiative and focus on female empowerment and body positivity through the work that you do. And, it's been an honor, honestly, having you, especially a part of the Kizomba community that I really want to talk more with and understand that world even more because I think through conversations, that's where we can make those changes. But before we go, I'd love to know if you had any last few words for myself and the audience.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate how how you bring to light
Hmm.
so many artists, and also, I really appreciated how over quarantine you spoke up about so many important topics, and you're a real leader for the community, and I think that's really important, and I really appreciated it.
Thank you. I
Um,
mean, thank you.
and I don't know, what else was I supposed to say?
Oh, just contact info
Oh,
on how people can get in contact with you and see what you're up to.
yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at miranda.kitty.dance.
Awesome. Yes. So, everyone, you can check out Miranda Kittie's work there. And honestly, it's been another great episode of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, episode 126. I'm here with Miranda Kittie representing Texas, where everything is bigger. And honestly, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Definitely please check out Miranda Kittie's work. There'll be definitely more to come. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you this Sunday on a new episode. Take care, everyone, and be safe.